The night everything shifted wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No slammed doors. It was a Tuesday. I was standing in the kitchen, barefoot on cold tile, watching the microwave countdown tick toward 0. The house smelled like reheated pasta and lemon cleaner. Ordinary, painfully ordinary. My wife, Hannah, was upstairs getting ready for bed, humming softly. Same tune she'd been humming for weeks. That hum followed me everywhere lately. We'd been married 7 years. Long enough to build routines that ran on autopilot. I woke up first. She slept in. I left my mug by the sink. She complained about it, but washed it anyway. Every night at 10:30, she said she was tired. Every night, she stayed up another hour on her phone. That part was new. I wasn't looking for betrayal. I was looking for quiet. For the version of us that didn't feel like it was slowly slipping through my hands. Hannah worked in event coordination. Long hours. Unpredictable schedule. That's what she told people. What she told me. And I believed her. Because trusting your spouse isn't something you question until it's already too late. But lately, her phone had become an extension of her body. Always face down. Always locked. Notifications silenced. If it buzzed, she'd glance first, then decide whether to react. She used to hand it to me without thinking. Can you check the weather? Now she took it into the shower. I noticed everything. The new perfume she claimed was a sample from work. The sudden gym sessions she never invited me to join. The way she laughed at messages but stopped the second I entered the room. Still, I told myself I was being dramatic. That marriages go through quiet seasons. That love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Until Ryan came back into the picture. Ryan was a name I'd heard before. Years ago. At family gatherings. Old photos. Someone from Hannah's childhood. Someone her parents trusted. Someone who felt like family. That phrase would come back to haunt me. The first time she mentioned him again, it was casual. Too casual. Ran into Ryan today, she said, folding laundry without looking at me. He's back in town. Oh, I replied. Didn't know he moved back. She shrugged. Yeah, it's been a while. Her voice didn't shake. Her hands didn't stop folding. But she didn't look at me. From that day on, Ryan's name slipped into conversations like it belonged there. Ryan recommended this place. Ryan says traffic's terrible on that route. Ryan might stop by my mom's this weekend. Every time, she made it sound harmless. Familiar. Safe. And every time, something in my chest tightened just a little more. Our evenings changed. She started coming home later. Saying work ran long. Saying clients were demanding. Saying deadlines were brutal. I tried to be understanding. I cooked. I cleaned. I waited up. She'd come in smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. When I asked, she laughed it off. You're overthinking again. That sentence became her shield. I didn't want to be the suspicious husband. I didn't want to become the man who interrogated his wife over nothing. I wanted to trust her. To believe the life we built wasn't quietly being dismantled behind my back. So I stayed quiet. Until the phone bill arrived. Not the detailed one, just the summary. But even that was enough to make my stomach drop. One number stood out. Repeatedly. Late nights. Long calls. Almost daily. I didn't recognize it. At first, I told myself it was work. A client. A vendor. But deep down, I already knew. That night, Hannah kissed my cheek and said, "Don't stay up too late." Her phone buzzed as she walked away. She smiled at the screen. And for the first time in our marriage, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't afraid of what I might find. I was afraid of how calm she was hiding it. I didn't confront her. Not that night. Not the next morning either. Instead, I did something that surprised even me. I stayed normal. I laughed at her jokes. I asked about her day. I kissed her goodbye before work like nothing inside me was cracking open. That was the hardest part. Pretending ignorance while your instincts are screaming isn't bravery. It's endurance. The phone bill sat folded in my jacket pocket all day at work, pressing against my chest like a secret with weight. Every time I felt it, I thought about how many nights I'd gone to bed alone while Hannah sat downstairs finishing emails. How many times I defended her to friends who hinted she seemed distant. How many small doubts I'd swallowed because marriage, I believed, deserved trust first. By lunchtime, I stopped pretending I didn't know what I was going to do. I called a service provider. The woman on the line was polite, professional, efficient. She asked me to verify my identity. Asked for the last 4 digits of my social. Asked if I wanted a detail call log sent to my email. Yes, I said too quickly. When the email arrived, I didn't open it right away. I stared at the subject line instead, my cursor hovering like it might burn me if I clicked. I finally did. In my car, windows up, engine off. The document was clean, organized, cold, dates, times, durations. There it was again. That number. Ryan's number. I confirmed it by searching once, carefully, through contacts she didn't know synced to our shared cloud years ago. I hadn't deleted anything. I hadn't needed to. The calls weren't random. They were patterned. Early mornings before she woke me. Late nights after she said she was tired. Long calls on weekends when she claimed to be running errands. Some calls were short, but others stretched past 40 minutes. An hour. 90 minutes. No one talks that long unless there's comfort. Unless there's intimacy. Unless there's something to hide. My hands shook as I scrolled. I wasn't angry yet. That came later. What I felt first was grief, sharp and disorienting. Like mourning something that was technically still alive. That night, I watched her differently. Hannah sat across from me on the couch, legs tucked beneath her, phone glowing softly in her hands. She smiled at something on the screen, then caught herself and cleared her throat. "What?" she asked lightly. "Nothing," I said. "Just tired." She nodded, relieved. That nod hurt more than anything. Over the next week, I didn't rush. I observed. I noticed how she angled her body away when texting, how she stepped outside to take certain calls, how she used my name more often than usual, overcompensating, like guilt dressed up as affection. She started planning our anniversary dinner with enthusiasm that felt performative. "Let's do something special," she said one morning, leaning against the counter. "Invite family. Make a night. Family. Friends. Witnesses." I agreed, not because I wanted celebration, but because I understood opportunity. While Hannah coordinated flowers and reservations, I quietly prepared something else. I requested extended logs, metadata, location overlaps. Nothing illegal, nothing invasive, just facts, assembled patiently, methodically. The picture that formed was undeniable. Ryan wasn't just calling. He was meeting her. Coffee shops near her office. Apart 10 minutes from our house. A restaurant she claimed she hated, but visited twice in 1 week. Both times when I was working late. The betrayal wasn't explosive. It was deliberate. And then I found the message. Not by hacking. Not by snooping late at night like some villain. She left her tablet unlocked one evening when she rushed out to grab milk. A notification popped up before the screen dimmed. "Ryan, miss your voice already." That was it. No explicit words. No graphic language. Just intimacy disguised as innocence. When Hannah returned, I was standing at the window, tablet back where it belonged, my reflection staring back at me like someone older. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just thinking." She kissed my shoulder. I felt nothing. That scared me more than the anger ever could. The night of our anniversary arrived dressed in gold and soft music. The restaurant glowed with candlelight. Family members laughed. Friends toasted. Hannah looked radiant, confident, relaxed, proud of the life she thought she still controlled. She squeezed my hand under the table. "For us," she whispered. I smiled, but inside, something had already shifted. I wasn't there to beg. I wasn't there to shout. I wasn't there to destroy her. I was there to reveal the truth with precision. When dessert menus arrived, Hannah stood to make a speech. She thanked everyone. She spoke about loyalty, about partnership, about choosing each other every day. People clapped. I waited. Then I stood. "I want to add something," I said calmly. Her smile faltered just slightly. "I used to think love meant trusting without question," I continued. "But I've learned that love also means honesty. And tonight, honesty matters." The room quieted. Hannah's fingers tightened around her glass. "I won't make accusations," I said. "I'll just share facts." I slid my phone onto the table and turned it outward, toward her, toward Ryan's empty chair, toward everyone. "Phone records," I said simply. "Dates, times, locations." The silence was immediate. Heavy. Total. Hannah didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her face told the story before I ever finished. And that was only the beginning. The silence didn't break right away. It settled. You could hear forks pause midair. Chairs stopped shifting. Even the soft background music felt like it had pulled back, giving space to the truth sitting between us. Hannah's hand slipped from mine. "Marcus," she said quietly, not looking at anyone else. This isn't the place. I nodded. You're right. That's why I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I brought receipts. I scrolled once and set the phone down again. A few guests exchanged looks. Her mother, Evelyn, frowned in confusion. Her father, Thomas, cleared his throat like he wanted to say something but didn't know which side he was on yet. Hannah stood slowly, composure cracking just enough to be visible. You check my records? She asked, voice tight. That's invasive. Invasive is rewriting reality. I replied evenly. I just follow the numbers. She laughed once, sharp, nervous. So now you're making this a spectacle? I didn't plan a spectacle, I said. I planned clarity. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried a different approach. Ryan is family to us. You know that. We've known each other since childhood. I looked around the table. Then you won't mind explaining why family calls you after midnight. No one spoke. Her sister shifted uncomfortably. A friend set her napkin down, eyes wide. The weight of public truth pressed in on Hannah from all sides. She exhaled slowly, then looked at me. Not with anger, but calculation. You're doing this because you want to control the narrative, she said. You always do. That was her move. The same one she used whenever I questioned her choices. Turn concern into control. Doubt into weakness. It didn't work this time. I didn't raise my voice, I said. I didn't insult you. I didn't interrupt your speech. I waited. I paused, then added, you're free to explain, or you can sit with what's already clear. Ryan wasn't there, but his presence was undeniable. The empty chair felt intentional now, like a ghost no one wanted to acknowledge. Hannah looked around the table, then back at me. Fine, she said. You want honesty? We talked. We connected. I felt understood. There it was. Not an apology. Not remorse. Just justification. Connected how? I asked calmly. She hesitated. Emotionally. Evelyn inhaled sharply. Thomas stared at his plate. So, when you told me I was overreacting, I said, you were protecting that connection. She crossed her arms. I didn't think it would hurt anyone. That sentence landed harder than any insult could have. I nodded slowly. That's the part that matters. I picked up my jacket. I'm not here to shame you, I said. I'm here to step out of something that stopped being honest long before tonight. She stood abruptly. You're walking out? After 7 years. No, I said. I walked out weeks ago. You just didn't notice. I left the restaurant without another word. The drive home was quiet. Clear. For the first time in months, my thoughts weren't racing. They were aligned. When I got home, I didn't go to the bedroom. I went to the office. I opened a folder I'd been building quietly. Financial records, joint accounts, legal consultations. Preparation isn't revenge. It's self-respect. Over the next few days, Hannah tried everything. She cried. She apologized. She blamed stress. She blamed Ryan. She blamed me. She said I embarrassed her. She said I ruined the anniversary. She said I should have handled it privately. You didn't give me time, she said one night, standing in the doorway. You just exposed everything. I gave you time, I replied. You spent it lying. That ended the conversation. Ryan tried to reach out once. A message. Short. Defensive. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something better. I stepped back. I separated finances. I documented everything. I told the truth to the people who mattered, without dramatics, without exaggeration. And something unexpected happened. People believed me. Hannah's version of events didn't hold up without my silence to support it. Her story shifted too often. Mine didn't need to. The marriage ended quietly. No courtroom drama. No public fights. Just paperwork and distance. But the real revenge wasn't in what I took from her. It was in what I stopped giving. Access. Cover. Protection. I reclaimed my time. My dignity. My future. And in that space, free from suspicion and second-guessing, I found something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. The quiet after everything ended felt unfamiliar at first. Not lonely, just still. The house sounded different without Hannah's footsteps pacing late at night, without the soft buzz of her phone lighting up the dark. Mornings became slower. I stopped rushing through coffee. I stopped checking my phone every few minutes, expecting an explanation that would never come. For the first time in a long while, my thoughts weren't competing with doubt. The divorce wasn't dramatic. No shouting matches. No accusations thrown in public spaces. Just signatures, schedules, and the quiet understanding that something had been broken long before either of us admitted it. Hannah moved out within a month. When she packed, she avoided eye contact. She didn't argue. She didn't ask for forgiveness again. I think she finally understood that apologies don't undo choices. They just acknowledge them. Ryan faded from the picture just as quickly as he'd appeared. People who build connections in secrecy rarely survive in daylight. Without my silence to shield them, the story lost its appeal. Friends reached out. Some admitted they'd noticed the distance between Hannah and me long ago, but didn't know how to say it. Others apologized for assuming things were fine because we looked fine. Appearances are powerful liars. I sold the house, not because it hurt, but because it belonged to a version of me that no longer existed. I moved into a smaller place across town. Sunlight poured through the windows in the morning. No echoes. No tension in the air. I started running again. Early mornings. Quiet streets. Steady breathing. Movement gave me control over my body the way clarity had given me control over my mind. People asked if I regretted the way I revealed the truth. I didn't. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't humiliate anyone. I didn't twist facts to win sympathy. I simply stopped protecting a lie that wasn't mine to carry. That's not cruelty. That's boundaries. Months later, I ran into Hannah at a grocery store. She looked different, less polished, more tired. We exchanged polite nods. Nothing more. As I walked away, I felt no anger. No urge to say something sharp. No need to prove anything. Closure doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes as indifference. The most surprising change came internally. I stopped doubting my instincts. The part of me that once hesitated, that second-guessed every concern, had learned its lesson. Awareness isn't paranoia. Trust isn't blindness. Love isn't silence. I started dating again, slowly, intentionally. I listened more. I observed patterns instead of excuses. I paid attention to actions, not words. And when someone asked me why my marriage ended, I didn't overshare. I chose honesty, I'd say, and I chose myself. That answer felt right every time. On the anniversary of the night, everything changed. I went out to dinner alone. Same city, different restaurant, no audience, no speeches. I ordered what I wanted. I sat comfortably. I raised a glass, not to the past, but to the clarity that followed it. Some betrayals don't break you. They sharpen you. They strip away the illusions and leave behind something steadier, stronger, more self-aware. I didn't win because she lost. I won because I refused to keep living in confusion. And that's the kind of ending that doesn't need applause. It just needs peace.